Hello and welcome. If this is your first time joining me, or welcome back if you've been following along with me. I'm still Michael Beck, and yeah, just it's waking up the morning, just browsing my YouTube, and just watched a video from a creator that I follow. Um, it's Minimu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I appreciated their thoughts, and I was going to just simply drop them a comment, but I thought, why don't I just go ahead and create a video response? And so, Minima, if you're watching, hi. But if not, that's cool too. Yeah, so I appreciate the topic and just felt inspired to give my own thoughts on it for whoever my viewers want to listen. So yeah, prepared a few notes here. And so I'm going to try to go into it. And yeah, so the title is the video is No, I'm Not Wasting My 20s. And so, yeah, to clarify, I am now in my early 30s. So I'm coming at it from a different angle, but yeah, just gonna, as usual, provide some two thoughts and things, and I think yeah, mostly just pose some um, yeah, some thoughts and some questions, more than necessarily giving answers. But yeah, I guess I thought about kind of coming at this from sort of two different angles. One kind of being more, I guess, within the realm of sort of like what I see as like the history of things, but also just like looking in terms of like our more immediate like culture as well. And so, but yeah, when I think of the idea of like not wasting my 20s, like to me that just feels like an instance of like it feels like really feels like something that's like perpetrated from above, like from somebody older, speaking to younger people and giving this kind of idea. Like I don't know that. Like I can't imagine that like as a young person like in like 20s, like I would have had any idea of like wasting my 20s if I didn't have an older person, telling me not to waste my 20s. Or, just the people around me, saying like, oh, I don't want to waste my 20s. And they've received that from an older person that's been told that. And so, yeah, I think that, um, like it's nothing new for adults to have a bunch of regrets, um, and various concerns, and to project that onto others, especially younger people who um, might be a sort of captive audience, or listen even if they don't agree. um, there's tons of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but like they stick in your mind when you hear them enough, and hear them from um, yeah, from like authority figures, whether it be a parent or a teacher, if you have any kind of level of like respect for them. um, and so yeah, I kind of yeah, I even now as I'm sharing this, kind of being mindful of I guess my own age and sort of the potential influence that can come from that. But yeah, I just think that like yeah, historically, um, yeah, I mean, I think we just always, um, I think it's natural and not like a bad thing to, to have, elders, people older than us that we can like look to, um, to receive some manner of like wisdom and counsel. Um, but I think, yeah, like it's, throughout history, I think, particularly there's been, older men, and maybe are very smart men, but, still kind of, yeah, passing on their ideas, that are perhaps, I could say are problematic. And so yeah, I think that, yeah, just this idea and this notion of like, don't waste your 20s. That just makes me think of, the kind of thing that's like handed down from, some older, curmudgeons potentially who are, just have like lots of regret and, um, like wishing they could go back to the past and yeah, again, like projecting that onto younger people. And I just don't think that's, particularly helpful. I mean, that kind of projection I don't think is helpful in general. Um, but yeah, just it's the idea of, yeah, like, oh, this is like something that I regret. This is my problem, and I'm going to, tell a younger person that, and so I'm going to save them and help them out. Um, but so often it's like the younger person's like maybe probably not even like thinking about that is like not a concern, and yeah, like the idea of like wasting your like 20s is like uh it's like so subjective. And I guess maybe I'll get into that and kind of the taking kind of the other angle, but I guess yeah, like one kind of point, kind of like thinking, well, I guess this is kind of moving into yeah, kind of like more of like the particular times that we live in and the culture in like America is I think that just with like the rise of the internet, I think it's like easier than ever to, and I think yeah, speaking as like a millennial, but just kind of observations of like other like millennials. I think there's always kind of, I mean, yeah, I mean, historically there's been like nostalgia and like thinking that things were better in the past. But I think now with like with the internet, when you can, have like such like easy access to, so many of the things of your youth, in a way that you couldn't really in the past. Like you can have such easy access to like the music that you used to listen to. You can like, there's like whole pages and channels that are like dedicated to nostalgia and like showing you, all of the things and places from your youth. And so, yeah, I don't know if like millennials are necessarily like, more inclined or would be, telling younger people like not to waste your youth. But like, I guess I wouldn't be surprised because I think there's already, again, like just this natural, like reoccurring thing of young people getting older, having regret, and and passing that on to younger generations. The thought not in my notes is that I think that we've been having this idea of like not wasting your youth for like a good long while now. It seems like that's just again like I'm not like the biggest like history buff. Like I don't have any specific examples to cite, but I'm just sure you could just like look back at reading like ratings and just like headlines, and you probably see examples, through the generations of even like in music and just kind of general sentiments from like older people, like pining for and like wishing for their like youth that they used to have. Um, and generally, I think there's just a culture that doesn't really seem to appreciate and value aging. Um, and so I think that, yeah, I mean, that's something that I maybe kind of touched on before, um, with some of my writings and videos. Just as, thinking about it as I was approaching my 30s, like that just seems like such a big like milestone moment that so many people and yeah, even yeah, like when I was in my 20s, that I was like had some resignations for, and here we are now in our 30s. Um, and I guess unfortunately, like it doesn't end. Like uh, you regret your yeah, this feeling of like anticipating, becoming 30, and then you're 30 and I'm 30 like now, and anticipating like my 40s. And so hopefully I'll get to a point where I can just cut it out and just be like, hey, like I'm going to be here presently, and not, concerning myself about, like wasting time and concerned about, getting older. But again, yeah, it's so, it's like, honestly, yeah, the struggle is real. When just there's like so many ideas, yeah, about not wasting time, and the idea, yeah, of like your 20s being like the prime of your life, and that feels, yeah, so subjective. Like maybe it's going to be a great time, for somebody, but yeah, hopefully, like just because you get older doesn't mean that can't be, great too. And it seems like there's this idea of like, maximizing your younger years, and then you just kind of settle, like in retirement, which I don't, think is like great. Like I feel like there should always be, hopefully, like a spark within us to, having some like willingness to, like live and experience, and make the best of like the years that we have. Um, and and I think, yeah, that like happens like when we can like be, present, and not like be so concerned, uh, about what has happened, or like what's going to happen. Um, Gosh, where was I going with this? But yeah, just getting like more personally, like I developed my like now like, chronic pain, chronic health issues, like when I was like, like when I was 20. So, rip, like, that's just how things kind of happen for me, and that kind of goes into a whole conversation of people being like, oh, like you're too young to be sick, and it's like, well, like, there's like, tell that to my illness, like, yeah. So I just think, there's hopes that I have of, getting help and getting treatment, and finding some, like means of recovery, and like management. And so I guess, yeah, the hope is for me that, maybe in a later time that things can improve or be better. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't an option for me to just simply, uh, have this, this prime time of like my 20s. Um, so I don't know, that seemed like something to like weigh into. It's like there is like so much that's like potentially like outside of our control. And so yeah, like I didn't have the option, like a lot of people just don't have options uh to, not waste, and make the most of the 20s. I mean, there's people even, younger than I was when I developed my issues, that, developed health issues and things. And so yeah, it's like you just never know. And, um yeah, I guess I kind of go back to the idea of, um well, I guess I'll continue on to my next points if I sneak this into this video. Um, and so I guess going more into, again, kind of just like culture, like here in America, is I just think it's like really interesting, that it just feels like we're encouraged to be, selfish, but not, encouraged to, um, yeah, to think for ourselves. And I guess like thinking more about that, it it just seems like there's like so much shame that happens when, not like in of itself, if you think for yourself, but if the thinking for yourself causes you to do things that are unexpected, then there's just like so much shame. So yeah, I mean, comments about, yeah, I do think that we are such a, go-getter, fast-paced, extroverted society, and so to do anything other than that is like unexpected, and I think there's just like tons of shame, that comes like from, and this feeling of like otherness if you don't just merge and fill, that mold. Um, And yeah, I was also just kind of thinking like, and these are just my general observations, but I almost like sense that there is like a growing gap between generations. I don't know necessarily what generations that would be. Um, I'm not saying it's like definitively um, I think yeah. I mean the generations blur, and it's and I guess I have some uh, yeah some problems with it. Where I don't always find it like helpful like markers, and not everyone's going to like relate to the generation that they supposedly fall into. um but yeah, I just feel like that there was uh generally speaking, yeah, like previous generations that were um like it seems like a lot of like the push and the motivation was to like just like do and experience like as much as possible. um and and even like pushing yourself to and like beyond your limits, and versus um later in generations generally um just seem like they are more about like living within like their means and prioritizing comfort. And I don't want to just say like one is like definitively like better than the other. Like I can see pros and cons where there could be some good things and some merit in and stretching and pushing ourselves and like doing things that like aren't necessarily comfortable. um but also yeah, like stretching yourself beyond your limit, I think goes without saying, like not great in my opinion. um but uh but I guess yeah, like kind of going in that general like trainer of thought, I think that in previous generations it was about striving to achieve and to make money, and so you could buy things and you could travel. And then I think that just like in like later generations, it just feels like there's like much more of a contentment with less. and and when I just kind of think about like American consumer culture, I just think like which of those like really fits and buys into consumer culture. And it seems pretty obvious to me that the achiever, the person who is like motivated and like more than happy to waste away at their job to make money, to buy things and to travel, like that like fits well the mold of consumer culture. And so I think that, I guess it's really interesting place. And again, it's a generalization. I guess I'm curious like how like widespread it is, but I get this sense that there's like more and more people. Um, I guess don't necessarily have to be like younger generation, but I just feel like there is um, proportionately a large number in like younger generations who it just I get the sense that they're like generally like more content with less. And again, yeah, generalization, because I think there's still um, again, it's like there's so much cultural influence involved. And I think yeah, there are like lots of young people who are high achievers and striving and trying to have lots of nice things and travel and do those things. um, and I guess yeah, it's probably appropriate at this point to say, and I think it was mentioned, and when it was like video, like I guess not trying to like throw shade or saying like one is like um, isn't necessarily better or worse or like bad, or like throwing shade on someone who like wants to achieve and like wants to have things and like wants to travel. But I think it gets difficult when that becomes the norm and the standard that everyone's supposed to adhere to. Um, but then again, yeah, I also do kind of just like question like how much of achieving and striving and obtaining money and attaining things and traveling potentially again like buys into consumer culture. and is that actually like really healthy and like what we want as a society? I don't know, maybe there's a bigger and deeper thoughts that I guess I'm not going to go into for the scope of this video. But yeah, I think that's all I've got. Thank you as always for considering these thoughts with me. Until next time, please stay well and take care.